What's up, team? Sorry it's been a minute since my last upload, or maybe like 3 years, but I'm getting back in the swing of things now. I've been pretty busy having a couple kids, and I really haven't been making it to many races, but we're hoping to change that this year. And we're gonna start it off with doing the transmission swap on this Subaru right here. So towards the end of last season, where I ended up in 3rd place overall in the state for mod all-wheel drive, I lost 2nd gear. So I went and picked up a 444 final drive out of a 2005 Subaru Forester 2.5 XT, and we're getting that thing swapped into this right now. Now, I have actually already completed the job since I'm filming this intro in the future, so I can tell you that everything is done, the car is driving, and it feels pretty good. But I did have some issues along the way, so follow along and you'll see some of what I ran into. Alright, so here's both rear diffs side by side. This one over here is for the 444. This one is whatever was already in the car. The outside looks identical. I had to swap this over because the guy that I bought it from did an STI swap, so the one that came with this was an STI and it was too big to fit my drive shaft, so I had to pull that off of the older diff and move it over to the new one. I think if you're just doing a straight swap for swap from like a Forester, I think they'll be the same size though, but don't quote me on that one. Otherwise everything else lines up. They look identical. It should pop right in, and then I just got to do the transmission. So I just got the original transmission, this one, pulled out of the car, and I wanted to put it side by side with the new 444 transmission. Came out of a turbo Forester. I think it was a 2005 2.5 XT Forester. There's some stuff that's the same and some stuff that's different, so I'm going to go over some of that right now. Overall, first things to note is that the length, it might not look like it from this angle, but they're both the same length. So I shouldn't have any issues with my drive shaft still fitting and everything like that. The splines are the same on both of them. So going into the existing clutch, because I'm not planning on changing my clutch out, should be the same. The fork is different. So this is the fork that is coming off of mine. It's a cable clutch, so the fork might look a little different. If it is a hydraulic, you're not going to have this split up at the top, and it's just going to be straight. So with the cable, you can see my pivot ball is down in this lower hole, and with the hydraulic, it's up in the upper hole. So I'm going to swap that over. I did get a new throwout bearing, and I'm going to be putting this back into this transmission. I just need to swap the pivot ball. I'm going to swap this one over to this one instead of moving that one down, just because this one's a little bit cleaner on this side, and I know it works correctly with this fork, and I don't think it really makes a difference. You can see on this transmission we have 2 studs down at the bottom where it goes in, a centering pinhole. We have the 2 top bolt holes here. These don't go to anything. That doesn't go to anything, or sorry, that doesn't go to anything. However, one thing that's kind of a pain is on the back side. I thought this stud was going to go through into the engine block, but it's not. It's just threaded into the transmission here. And on this one, I don't have that. I think the turbo motor has either a bolt or a stud that goes all the way through into the engine block. So my hope is that I can unthread this, tap this hole, and put it into this transmission so it'll go in just fine. The torque brackets look to be the same. This bracket right here is what my cable clutch goes through. So instead of bolting up to these holes that the hydraulic clutch goes to, I'm going to swap this bracket over to that transmission. It looks like everything should bolt in just fine, and then I can use my cable clutch on this transmission. This is just the ground wire right here. These two sensors on the back appear to be the same as those two sensors. The problem is that these two sensors have long cords that go all the way up to the plugs on the wiring harness. And on these ones, they have short cords that go to a common harness that then goes up to the motor. So I'm planning on just swapping the sensors off of this transmission over to that transmission and hoping that everything works. Also, this sensor right here goes into the same spot. I think this is the speed sensor. I could be wrong though. You can see this one is just a 2-wire plug. I don't know if that's coming in clear for you. The one on here though is still a 2-wire, or no, it's a 3-wire plug. So I'm hoping that I can just remove that and swap that one in and everything will work just fine. So we'll see if that works out or not. I'm heading to the back. Oh, this has stubs that come out of it. This has a female, so I got new axles that will hopefully just go right in and everything will work just fine. Coming towards the back of the transmission, already took it off, but this bracket for the exhaust hanger goes on right there like that, and the old one is a bracket that would bolt up right there. So the hangers come down in the same position, but I like how this one is hooked up with bushings. So I think I'm going to put that one back on, and hopefully everything still fits and I can just run this and give the exhaust a little bit more wiggle. This transmission was held in with 2 studs at the bottom and 2 bolts at top, and that's it on the 2 centering pins. This transmission looks like it's set up to receive several more bolt holes than that. However, the 2 at the bottom that these go onto the studs are the same as the 2 on the bottom on this. And then there's just going to be empty mounting holes up here, and then my 2 bolts are going to go through the top right here. So I think once I get everything swapped over, you can see my shift boot is just totally rotten. So I'm getting a new one of those for the shift fork. And I think once I swap everything over, I can slap that transmission into the car. Okay, so quick update. I did get this unthreaded. Unfortunately though, when you go over to this transmission, the hole's too big for me to tap it to receive this same stud here. So I think what my plan is going to be is I'll still tap this hole just to a larger thread than what this stud is, and then I'll just get a bolt and bolt through the starter motor directly into this hole right here. So I'll probably have to drill out the hole in the starter also, so that it'll receive that same larger bolt that can thread into that hole. But we got to do what we got to do to make it work. All right, so follow up on the starter not being able to have the stud here. I threaded this lower mounting hole to a M12 by 1.5. Take this bolt, and then over here on the starter itself, I just drilled out that hole a little bit with I forget what, oh, here we go. This is what I had to buy for it, 15-30 seconds drill bit, and the bolt fits through perfectly. So I'm pretty confident that that'll work. So I have swapped everything off of this transmission over to this transmission, and for the most part it went smooth. So these 2 sensors over here went right in, no problem. I think they'll work just fine. This one right here went in just fine also, although the one that I pulled off of, I put it in there just to plug the hole, but that's the one I pulled off and it literally was just falling apart. So I'm not even sure that one was working on the car this came out of. Something noteworthy. This, I got my fork in there. This bracket right here, I don't know, you can't really tell. I had to grind quite a bit off of the bottom of it to clear this transmission because she's quite a bit more girthy than this girl right here. So you can see it's a little different there. But ground that off, didn't really take away from any of the structure of it at all, just made it clear, and should work just fine. I still have to move this ground wire over, but this one looks like it got a little melty at some point, so I'm probably just going to make a new ground wire and put that on right there and run it up to the ground spot on the body of the car. But everything's looking pretty good so far. I still got to wait for my new throwout bearing. The pivot ball transferred over no problem. Just waiting on my new throwout bearing to go on there, and my new shift boot that I ordered. But I think we're in good shape here. As soon as I get that, I should be ready to start putting this thing into the car. Alright, so the new transmission is stabbed. We're tightened down. I don't know if you can really even see what's going on. This bracket went on just fine. All my plugs are lining up just fine. I put the starter in. What I did on that bottom bolt, you can't even really see it, but talked about changing the thread pitch. That all worked just fine. I went ahead and put some anti-seize on that bolt before I put it in, just because that's going to suck if I have to pull that out and it rips out all the threads with it. So, but this is all hooked up. This bracket that goes down here that holds the other side of the air box does not mount in the same spot on this transmission. So this arm still lines up fine. This one interferes now, so I'm just gonna chop that off. Probably don't even really need it, but figure it'll be nice to have at least something supporting the other side of my air box or plenum. I'm not even sure what that is, but just for added support. So yeah, chop that so there's at least one bolt holding it up. Everything else seems to be going pretty smoothly though, so we'll finish getting this all buttoned up, add some fluid to it, and fire it up and take her for a spin and see how she does. So one little added bonus that I wasn't really thinking about is the transmission that I bought came with all the shifter linkage as well as the shifter stick right here. And I realized that this is actually a short throw shifter. So I went ahead and swapped that with the one that was in the car. And now I just have, a really short pull for all my shifts. So that should work out nicely. So yeah, little added bonus that I wasn't expecting. So of course things were going a little too smoothly with this whole transmission swap, and I ended up realizing the axles I picked up weren't going to work with the knuckles that I had on the car. So I went to Pick and Pull, picked up some new ones. These are actually in really good shape, so I could make the axles work. Then I realized that I had ordered the wrong axles, so I still need the new knuckles, and it's a good thing because if you can see right here, the wheel bearing's going out on that old one that I just pulled off. So it's a good thing that I picked up some new ones. I'm gonna have to order some different axles, and then we should be all good to go. Just slap those axles in and throw some fluid in, and I can get this thing back on the road. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you have any questions about the work that I put in, anything that I didn't cover, leave a message or a comment down below, and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks again for watching, and subscribe if you want to see some more of my content.